Aloha and happy new moon. It's actually called a black moon, and today is April 30th, and it's a time that anytime when a new moon comes, it's time to plant your seed, especially during this black moon, because during the midst of chaos, there is going to be part of us, maybe getting sucked into all of these changes and things like that. But we really need to stay grounded, and most of all, really trust the process of these changes that's happening to us, because there is going to be an opportunity later on in our life to reflect back during this course of 2022, because 2022 is really the change of right when the sweep of the midst of the pandemic, right? It can go either which way. It can get worse, where, some part of the country, such as China and some other part of the world, they have different ways of handling this pandemic. And so 2022 is really the rulership of top-down power. And when I say power, is because they do have power, in ways that they can and they have been controlling us. And so this is really when you need to really surrender yourself to really think. Yes, it's important to think in the now, but really take this stance, especially during this solar eclipse, because solar eclipses are very, very strong energy. And this is like a wild card per se that is handed down to us. And so when it comes to our life and our relationship, is because during the eclipse, there's going to be some even surprises and shocks, and be really thankful, because if you prepare yourself, and really connect to that warrior side of yourself, the spirit will really start to give you the stamina of what you need to go forward during this, these challenging times, because either people are just over it and they just, like there's a lot of people out here in Hawaii, which they are so over it with the price of housing, the cost of living, and especially now with gas prices. And this is not only here in Hawaii. I see a lot is happening in California and so forth. So really taking this time and really trying to, when I say that, like the new moon is when you plant your seed, and especially this seed of April, because we had 2 new moon in April. But this is known as the black moon because it takes us into May. And with this, really this is a time to, we've been going through this, and I'm sure because since January to April, there has been a lot of heavy different changes, different things that's coming up in our schedule that, we don't know. There's a lot of things that mandates and a lot of things that changed and lift and the way we do our lifestyle. All of a sudden we are mask off and we have the freedom to travel. We have a lot of things that's really pent up, and really trying to say, hey, I'm back to the new normal, which is great. And so we need to really upgrade our system during this month. When I say during this month, it's talking about going into May, because May 1st is in Hawaii, May Day is Lay Day in Hawaii. And it's so nice to see you really, plumeria getting back into the scene, because we were just talking about plumeria trees, that before old school Hawaii, there used to be so much beautiful plumeria, but now only certain places, but now I see it where the lay stand is bringing back up the flower, the energy, and it's really ground up feeling that it's so important. And so if we have promised ourselves that we're going to get back into our health and wellness, this is the time. This is really the time, because pretty soon summer is going to come, and so spring is a time to really start to relax and work on your breathing exercise and really listening to the messages that's coming into you. Trust this process. And it's so easy to say, but it's so hard to do, to really trust the process, because we think so much, which is our cheetah mind, which is our monkey mind, saying otherwise. And so that's why it's so good to really start to understand the spiritual guide within us. Because listening to these kind of messages, you will start to receive the essential tools to really see things much more clear. Because if we only focus in the energy of, per se, what we see on the social media, I mean, it's going crazy. I mean, like, things that's happening. First, it was a Kardashian with, I mean, they're still having a big, huge problems with, you know, China. And I mean, I don't mean to be into this thing, but it's constantly information about these things that's happening. But it's also an awakening of how these things are changing. For example, like Johnny Depp, and how he brought it to light about men abuse. You know, before that we had Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. You know, and it's really funny because here in the United States, that's what people really feed upon, you know, on these celebrities and Hollywood gossip and things like that, because it's to them, you know, something that they like, something that they get entertained and cherish and whatever it may be. But, you know, those are the things, because if we stay so much in tune to that, because we can't help, I mean, I can't help but stop watching this Johnny Depp thing, because it really hit home, because I know a lot of men that was literally in his shoes who got abused by these women. And so, you know, it's not always a one-way thing that men are the abuser. It's women also, and they can be very, very vicious. I mean, really vicious. And so, you know, the thing is that we really have to see it that it's not just one person that does because they're a male or a female. Maybe it's much more featured in the media and things, and men has a tendency to not talk about it or really bring it to light. Exactly what, you know, his ex-wife mentioned, that you think anybody's going to believe you, Johnny, that I was an abuser? And so that really set tone to a lot of things, because, you know, being abused is not only between a relationship of marriage, of love and things. It can take beyond that. It can be between two family members or with co-workers, friends. It's a lot where people need to really stand up and say, listen, you know what? This is my boundary. This is how I feel. And that's why you have to really stay focused in creating that self-awareness. And how? is because we need to just take that time, like really figure out what your passion is, what your life is, and what is, you know, your purpose. Because we go through so much different, you know, ways in life. And with that wave in life, we need to change that current of how we go through. And so May, especially during this solar eclipse, and the next one is going to be in November. So we have to really, when we go into eclipse season, really, this is when your body and your surrounding is starting to wake up and start to say, you know what? Go for it, because we're here. The only thing left is the next half of the year to finish. And so if you have that project, or if you have that thing that you want to go forward, really this tonight, the 30th, is plant that seed when you start to write down what your goals are, what you want to do for the next literally 6 months from now, and how you want to schedule yourself to create a strategy where you know that in 2023 and thereafter, you have committed yourself to a great, wonderful plan. So this is really basically, you know, how it's so important to really, and for me is, I really love to talk about things during the new moon as well as the full moon, is because it gives you like a aha wake up moment to see what is on your schedule, on your strategy. And when I say strategy, it sounds like, wow, what kind of strategy? Life is a strategy, right? With the cost of living, with the cost of changes, and the cost of technology is ever changing. I mean, I spent how much money, time, energy in changing over to the new technology. And so this is what I'm saying is really time to wake up, schedule yourself into a strategy, whether it's a diet, whether you want to go through a divorce, whether you're writing a family will, whether you're trying to figure out your financial planning of how you're going to go forward for the next 18 years. Because guess what? Election is coming up, right? And so when we have this period of election, new faces, new people are really stepping forward to see the changes. And so that is the same kind of power that you need to create within yourself. And you know what? It will happen. It will truly, truly happen. Sometimes we may fail, but that failure becomes into a positive content, because you put your energy, you put in your love, you put in your knowledge, you put in your homework. You did your homework. And so because there was a bigger picture of what you wanted to do, these little things that you create yourself to do in between, it's not a waste of time, as some people say. And it's not a waste of energy. It's a waste of, if you don't focus exactly what you want to do with that information, how you can bring it over to what you're creating in the bigger project, then then it will be wasted energy. But if you use what you created, let's first say, for example, I did my, my moon courses. I did my different kind of courses. And that way I kept busy. while I was creating on a bigger project. And this bigger project takes time because I'm literally recreating my whole entire Cocojor brand, you know? And so I was busy doing that and repositioning myself, bringing some of the old into the new and upgrading what I need to do. So don't forget to check out my website at cocojor.com, also cocojorchannel.com, and most of all, subscribe to my YouTube because we have so many information. And I finally created my book, The Itchy Stinky Dog Guidebook, and it's all for free because you know why? We're celebrating our 20th anniversary at Cocojor. Who would have thought 20 years I'll be writing a book, I'll be having courses, and I'll be able to share all of my secrets, technique on how to really detox your dog from the inside out. And it took really a lot of information that I gathered and put it into my ebook. So you take care and we'll see you soon. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. Aloha!